How did you end up on a drip? Listen. I was supposed to go live yesterday morning, and I woke up at 8, and I really tried to rally for you guys, and I could not. Bam! See, I'm prepared-ish. Am I the asshole for not wanting to eat my godfather and his wife's wedding cake? I'm 18, allergic to peanuts since I was a little kid. However, when I was about 12 years old, I accidentally ate peanuts. Nothing bad happened to me, thankfully, but my allergy got worse, and if I ever ate one again, I can go into anaphylactic shock and possibly die. Which brings us to a week ago. My godfather got married, and it was time to eat the cake. However, when I got my plate, something looked suspiciously like peanuts, so I asked, does this have peanuts? To which my godfather replied, I don't know. I didn't want to risk it, so I refused to eat it. My grandmother got pissed. She said I'm an asshole who's trying to ruin my godfather's wedding because I hate him. My mother seemed to agree with her. 2 of my aunts also agreed and told me I should eat it to make my godfather happy. This seems crazy. This seems absolutely insane. There's no way that your mom is like, just eat the cake. If you die, you die. Like, what do you mean? My mother told me at the end that I should just have ate a piece, waited, and went into anaphylactic shock. They would just bring me to the hospital and everything would have been fine. Was I being unreasonable? What is happening here? Are you okay? Yeah, I think you need to move. I'm gonna read the update, but I think you need to move out. After replying to the comments about how horrible my mother is, I showed my mother what anaphylactic shock reaction was, and she was horrified. She kept on apologizing to me, saying she never wanted anything this bad to happen to me, and that she thought that I would just get some redness around my throat. She is not a bad person. She is misinformed, but not horrible. She is a terrible mother. She is horrible. She is very stupid and horrible. What do you mean? Oh, she's not a bad person, just misinformed. You hear anaphylactic shock, it doesn't matter who you are. You're like, that sounds bad. I would just be like, yeah, just put my kid into anaphylactic shock. Especially if I was like, I don't really know what it does. You're fine, you're just gonna be a little red. What? How does she not do the most minimum research into it? That makes no sense to me. Holy flipping freak. Your own mother, among many others, said you should risk your own death just to make some semi-relative happily at their wedding. You can't trust people like that to get you to the hospital if you did go into anaphylactic shock. That's so true. How could you trust these people to actually get you to the hospital if they didn't give a shit if you're gonna be put there in the first place? Yeah, this one's pretty easy. Not the asshole, obviously. Concerning, yeah, concerning, but yeah, definitely not the asshole. Some people should not be parents. Yeah, well, it is what it is. Am I the asshole for filing a complaint about a hospital worker trying to touch my baby? Yesterday, I had a doctor's appointment that I had to bring my 7-month-old son with. Appointment went fine, but afterwards I had to head downstairs to get to the lab to get some blood drawn. While I'm waiting in line to check in, another woman walks up to me and starts asking about my son. Boy or girl? How old is he? Meanwhile, he's in his stroller sleeping with a blanket over the whole front so it's darker and gives off the chill sleep vibes inside the stroller. This woman proceeded to lift up the blanket to peek inside at my son. Immediately responded with, in a slightly annoyed tone, he's sleeping right now. He's been having a rough time with naps during the day, so he was very cranky earlier. Which is mom code for, don't wake up my baby, don't touch my baby. Like, actually though, don't wake up my fucking baby, I swear to God, I'll slit your throat. Like, I feel like, me, personally, I feel like I could not be a mother, at least anytime soon, because if my child was screaming, crying, first of all, I don't know how the fuck I would handle it, but if they finally got to sleep, if anybody breathed near my child, I can't be held accountable for my actions, you know? Right after I told this lady that he was sleeping, she looked up at me and said, oh, okay, really fast in a hushed tone. Then continued to try to stick her hand further in the stroller under the blanket. Like she was gonna be quiet now instead of taking the hint. So at that point, I was mad and snapped, don't touch my baby, I don't know you, I already said he's sleeping. She had the nerve to tell me it was okay because she worked there at the hospital. That just made me even more mad. So I asked, so then you are here to draw my blood too, since you work here and you can do everything. She then said how rude it was and how she wanted to congratulate me on my baby. She told me that it was a shame motherhood didn't turn me into a sweet person who wanted to show off and brag about my baby like it does for everyone else. This person is creepy. I would not want this person around my baby. This is, she just wants to stroke my baby. It's fine. As she walked away, the counter opened up for me to check in, and I asked to file a complaint about her being so rude and trying to touch my baby. The woman at the counter said I could and would give me the info I needed for that, but then asked if I was sure I wanted to complain because lots of people like touching babies here. Usually the mom isn't upset about it. They're all trying to gaslight the shit out of her. Like, actually though, I was literally flabbergasted that she would say that to me, so I turned around and left the whole goddamn hospital because I could feel a nuclear breakdown coming. I called the hospital later and explained what happened and that I needed to reschedule. The woman on the phone apologized on behalf of the hospital and said she would file the complaint for me. Now that I've simmered down, I do sort of feel a bit Karen-ish because I've never filed a complaint about anyone before, but I'm still so mad about the way they talked to me at the clinic. This poor mother. Not only were these people like, your baby was sleeping, it took you so long to get the baby down, they were trying to force their hands upon your child, which you did not want, and then they made you feel gaslit into feeling bad for saying, no, don't touch my fucking baby. No means no. No means no. What do you mean? You don't have a right over touching my child. They have I will give you the consent of my child because they cannot for you right now. But you do not have consent to touch my child, so don't fucking touch my child. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? The mom says don't touch the fucking child, you don't touch the fucking child. Ignore your boundaries for us. You're just a woman. Listen. You don't know what's best for your baby. We know what's best for your baby. And what your baby needs right now is to be woken up by me petting it. For some reason. Bro, don't touch anything that's not yours, especially a baby. The lady was asking to lose a hand at that point. Like, actually though, no means no. Continued advance is a threat. I'd pepper spray you, bro. Actually though, if I said, hey, don't touch my baby, and then somebody was still trying to touch my baby, you best believe that pepper spray, is coming out. Lose the hand. What is going on with my voice? A real voice, yeah. The filter dropped, I'm sorry guys. Mom is not the asshole. The workers there have some weird entitlement. I get that you're around babies all day and that a lot of people let you touch their babies, but that does not mean that you now have an excuse to touch everyone's baby, especially when they say no. People always coming up and touching them and their babies, what the fuck? Yeah, it's true. You see a pregnant woman, they're saying, oh my God. It's like, you're rubbing my stomach right now. I don't know you. Am I the asshole for telling a bride it was not that difficult for people to upstage her at her wedding? My family and I are from Albania, but we live in the US. My cousin David got married to his wife Lizzie this weekend. In Albania, we always go all out for weddings and David wanted to keep many cultural traditions. Lizzie didn't like the idea. Lizzie had set out the invites via mail and also had some rules written down, as in no kids allowed, black tie dress code, absolutely no +1s unless both bride and groom approve of the +1. I feel like those are normal rules. I feel like that's they're trying to frame this where that's really bad, but I think so far I'm not mad. I am engaged and I thought my fiance would be included, but David said Lizzie is against a +1. I said that even if Lizzie is against it, my fiance has been in the family for years, way longer than Lizzie has been around, plus he's a friend of David as well, so he'd come as a friend. David was frustrated and said Lizzie has set down most of these rules and whenever he goes against her, she gets mad. So we should cut him some slack and just bear it with it for his sake. Okay, never mind, Lizzie being a bitch. I thought it was ridiculous how he didn't stand up for himself, but not my business after all. All of my Albanian side-eyed the fact that the wedding was kid-free because we are used to involving kids at weddings. The bride and her family refused to make any compromises about it and show respect to David and his wishes. But again, none of our business despite our frustration. Okay, that's a common thing though. Saying no kids allowed, that's a common thing. I would do the same thing. I don't want kids being there while I'm getting like blackout drunk. Like, people get rowdy at weddings, okay? I guess it depends on your family, right? Despite the black tie dress code, most of the bride's family turned up in jeans and flannel shirts, and the women just wore casual maxi dresses. Our side of the family dressed more formal. The bride just wore a white knee-length lace dress from H&M. The reception took place in a cabin by the lake, which had animal head trophies hanging on the walls. The only music we heard was some slow pop songs and then some country music. Every time the DJ tried to play some traditional Balkan music, the bride's family would get him to change it. The bride also made a big deal out of the fact that we were dressed formal and how we overdid it. We upstaged her. She kept complaining about it all night and was throwing tantrums to David about how we, as his family, were very disrespectful. Lizzie also implied that David's sister looks like a high-end escort with her outfit, but David's sister tried to keep it together for David's sake. After constant insults thrown around all night, I told her to chill out. She said she would not chill out because we disrespected her. I told her, first of all, she was scared she was going to be upstaged, she shouldn't request black tie dress code, and secondly, to be honest, it was not that hard to upstage her because I've seen grandma dresses fancier than the one she is wearing. So she is the underdressed one for her own wedding, which was supposed to be a black tie event. And I oop. David's entire family sided with me, but David said that I am an asshole for speaking to the bride like that on her wedding day. I told him that if the bride requires kindness, she should start with herself. Am I the asshole? Sheesh. There's so much to unpack here. I will say you probably shouldn't be insulting the bride's dress and how she looks on her wedding day, but, you know, that's just, you know, stooping to her level. You know, that you're just kind of stooping to her level because you're being petty. But, you know, you shouldn't say must be black tie event dress and then wear a lace dress from H&M. H&M does not sell black tie attire. I am beside myself at all of this. The fact that they're like, okay, no kids. Okay, that's fine. Black tie event. Okay, cool. So we all wore black tie. Why are you trying to upstage me? If anything, wouldn't it be your own family that's disrespecting you because you told them it was a black tie event and they showed up in flannel and jean? Lizzie had sent out the invites via mail, so there were some rules written down. No kids allowed, black tie dress code, and absolutely no +1s unless they get approved. Which, listen, that on its own, if that was an isolated invite, I would totally agree with that. You can say no +1s unless it's been approved. You're allowed to say that. Weddings can be extremely expensive. Each plate, you know, could be up to like $100 more dollars. Rules are fair. The rules are fair, which she seemed annoyed with from the beginning. Well, we're used to having children. Well, that doesn't matter. You're allowed to ask for no kids. She was in the right all the way up until she was getting upset that they upstaged her, but they all wore black tie like they were supposed to. So, you know, the OP, listen, everyone's the asshole here. Everyone's the asshole here. Honestly, she got pushed to a point where she was justified in her actions because the bride was being such a toxic Karen cunt. But you did end up just stooping to her level in the end, which it does make you the asshole too. But was it deserved? Yes, it was definitely deserved. But you did tell her that she looked like a grandma with a terrible dress on her wedding day. So, you know. Am I the asshole for refusing to delete nude photos from a photo shoot? I'm a male in my 30s, a photographer, and periodically do art and nude photo shoots. A few years ago, I shot with a woman in her 20s, female, and met on a photography site who expressed interest in getting some nude photos taken. I did the photo shoot for free in exchange for using some of the anonymous photos in my portfolio. Fast forward, I recently got messages from the woman asking me to take down the photos and delete my local copies too. I think it's because she started working in a relatively conservative field and worries what other people might think of it. I was happy to take the photos offline, but I refused to delete the offline copies in my hard drive. Nobody's going to see them other than me, and I put hard work into the photos, so I don't want to lose them. She even offered to pay me in exchange for deleting them, and I said no. I think she's getting quite stressed out over the photos, but we had an agreement I don't want to lose my artwork. My offline copies are not going to harm her in any way. Am I the asshole? I feel like overwhelmingly my chat is saying yes. It really depends. It really depends on the photos. I'm gonna be totally honest. Yeah, that's not your nudes, but they're not nudes. They're artistically taken photographs. It's not like naked nudes of an ex or something. It sounds like there was some kind of, you know, exchange of like, you know, it depends on what the photos look like. Who knows? This could have been like a really good boudoir shot or something, like a nude that he's really proud of and that he uses in his portfolio to get other work, you know? He does own the images. Like technically he does own the images. He does own the right to these images, and she signed off, and when the photos were taken, legally they are his and he could do as he pleases with them. Not the asshole. I keep offline copies of every photo I take so I can make physical portfolios that are specific to clients' needs. This is coming from a photographer. I agree. As somebody that did photography and stuff, like I could understand how she's really stressed out, but I also understand where he's coming from. She's probably regrets doing the shoot and wants them wiped off the face of the planet, so she just really wants them gone. So even though they're actually not going to come back and resurface, even though that just sitting in his hard drive, she just wants them gone, and it's really stressing her out. If the photos are really that good, then I guess then I would side with him. I would have to see the photos, to be totally honest. Because if they're just like some shitty taken photos and it's like you have way better stuff in your portfolio, just delete it. She did this in her 20s and she regrets it. Like, just like help her out. Nobody's gonna see them but me. If that's true, then why does he need them? He probably wants to use them for portfolios or something. He just wants to see the nudes. He just wants to see them nudes, bro. He's like, this is a really good nude. She looks really fucking hot. But, you know, is it really worth putting that much stress on somebody? I don't think he's the asshole, but I don't think he's great either. Like, it really depends on the photos, I think. It is his photos. It is a piece of art that he took, an image that he took legally that are his, that were agreed to. I think it's at least a little presumptive to assume this guy's a total creep and wants them for gross reasons. Exactly. I would have to see the photos. Like, you can't instantly be like, oh, you took a nude photo, you want to keep it? You're a fucking creep. It's like, then what does that say about art? What does that say about any nude photography or artistic works ever? Would he be mad if she made this story public? I wouldn't want to work with somebody knowing he did that. Fair, but like, yeah, like socially he should, because it would probably look bad on him for future clients. But he does own them legally and he doesn't have to do anything with them. It's like if somebody forced you to burn a painting, I don't know, right? See, what if it was a painting? Would you guys feel different? If somebody sat nude and somebody did a painting of them, and then they wanted them to destroy the painting, how would you feel if it was a painting instead? Is that a lot different to you guys? If so, why? She did want to purchase them, but again, it depends. Maybe he's really proud of this photo. Maybe this is a really good photo that he has in his portfolio that's gotten him a lot of work, right? I feel like this one I can't even say because I don't know. I'm gonna have to say not the asshole because like legally he doesn't have to. Socially, maybe he's more of an asshole socially. But without seeing the photos, I really can't say, to be totally honest. This one's hard because I don't know what the photos look like, you know?